Caregivers, how are you all? Happy Friday! Yay! How are you, caregivers? And I'm talking to you from wherever you are in the country. My name is Nkatha Kimathi. For those who don't know me, who know me, don't know me. And what I do is I'm a healthcare consultant, and I mentor you on opening and compliant healthcare residential facility. So a healthcare residential facility is any home that serves members of our public. It could be like an assisted living home that takes care of the elderly. It could be a behavioral home, a psychiatric residential home that takes care of individuals who have mental health challenges and substance use disorders. By that, I mean drugs or alcohol addiction. It could be a home for people with a developmental diagnosis. And by that, I mean individuals who were born with developmental challenges, like maybe intellectual cognitive issues. It could be behavioral issues in there. It could be cerebral palsy. It could be Down syndrome. It could be any developmental challenges that they went through, right, when they were being born. So I help you open really beautiful, amazing homes for this kind of individuals, so you can come into the world of entrepreneurship and make a little bit of money for you and your family, and hopefully leave a lifelong legacy for your family members, because these businesses can continue on and on as long as the state funding continues. Today, we are talking about one of my very, very special topics, and it's honesty. Honesty, honesty. And the reason I wanted to talk about honesty is for two reasons. Honesty helps those who are around you trust you, right? When you're honest about who you are, when you're honest about what your life truly looks like, it helps those around you grow. And when you become an entrepreneur, you have to be honest about your finances with your caregivers, especially when you're in the beginning. Because when you're in the beginning, you don't have enough money to pay caregivers. So some may come and decide to work in your group home at a subsidized rate. You need to be honest about that you don't have that much money and this is all that you have. But as they help you and your business grows, you're willing to increase your salary. And if you make that promise, then you must increase their salaries. Don't take caregivers' salaries for granted. Please don't do that, because caregiving is very hard in itself. So honesty helps the people around you. Now, if you are running a mental health group home, or you want to open a mental health group home to service individuals who have mental challenges, right? We're talking about individuals with anxiety, depression, they're schizophrenic, or they're bipolar. Honesty is very important, because when you have a mental breakdown or mental challenges in one way or the other, the first thing you need is a reliable adult in your space who can navigate the world for you. Because when your mind is, I had to say decompensated, when your mind is not degraded, not, what do you say, fragmented in one way or the other, having a person in your environment, in your sphere that you can comfortably rely on makes a very big difference. So for mental health clients, they are relying on you and your brains and how you move around life to navigate life, right? Because a lot of their mind is fragmented. So if you lie and they read your energy as lying, you're misdirecting how they should move around their lives, which means you're being irresponsible about those around you. So it's very important for you to learn to speak honestly about your life, including the things that are not working. In fact, a lot on the things that are not working, so that they can see and understand that life has both sides of it, the good things and the not so working things, because you're the voice for these clients, right? So when you're honest, they learn to be honest about their lives. When they're honest about their lives, they can inform you honestly about their lives. And you need that information, you need that data, so that you can help them rehabilitate and they can become better. So it's very, very important to be honest. Another thing you need to be honest about is your finances. Because with Medicaid, sometimes they pay you on time, sometimes they don't pay you on time. You know, this is the way, these are the ups and downs of business until you stabilize. So when you're coming into the space of group homes, Learn to look at your finances often and learn to analyze your finances often so that you can have a real picture of where you are, a real picture of what your budget is. Like, you need to memorize your budget down to the letter so you know on average what are you spending a month. For example, on average for my group home, my expenses for that one group home, my expenses were about $13,000, right? So you need to be honest about the mathematics of your business, because it took me maybe 3.5 years to be honest about the mathematics of my business, because I was so busy with my clients. I never really sat down to look at the statements. I never really sat down to see what I was earning per year, right? All the different years. I never sat down to tally what I was spending every month. I was just moving through life like a headless chicken. You see? And so after 3.5 years, I was like, wait, what? Does this even business make a profit? Yes, I can see I've made $250,000 per year. But why are my expenses $249,000? You get what I'm saying? So I wasn't taking scheduled time to just relax my mind and look through the mathematics of my group home. So after 3.5 years is when I was like, does this group home even actually make a profit? Yes. I'm getting that $20,000 to $30,000, sometimes even $40,000 a month if my home was full. That's an average of $5,000 per client. 5 times 6, about $30,000, right? Some insurance plans would pay more, like our access, our direct Medicaid in Arizona. When I take care of Native American clientele, the pay was $7,000 to $8,000, right? So those months would bump up to $40,000. But the role you're going to have is the role of an administrator. We don't budget the salaries of administrators in this group homes. So when I looked at my group home and I looked at the amount of money I was making, and I was like, wait, I haven't put in my hours there. I haven't calculated the number of times I'm working, either coming into the home to provide direct caregiving services or cleaning, cooking, doing those concurrent reviews. Concurrent reviews are those reviews you do every month, either 30 days, 45 days, or 60 days, depending on the insurance plan, to justify why the client needs their prior authorization. Prior authorization is that document that you get from the insurance plan when your client is given authorization to be in your home, right? And those documents take a lot of time to do. Every month I had to do meetings with case managers, right? We call them art meetings with case managers and the residents, coordinating the client's appointments, calling for medication, reviewing the employee files. There's a lot of work I was doing every single day. And when you're in your own business, it's not like you're plowing on those hours that you're doing every single day on an Excel sheet and saying, for someone of my education, qualification, and skills, I should be earning $30. Let's times it by those hours. Because when you do that and you add your administrative costs, I doubt you're making a profit. I doubt. So this is why you need to be honest. And honesty takes discipline. Be honest with your staff members. Don't act like you have it made when you don't. Be honest about paying them on time. When you can't pay them on time, give them a clear timeline on when you're going to get your money for them to pay them, because caregivers have families, they have goals, they have ambitions. Be honest about what your group home can offer. Because I was honest with my group home. I'm like, hey, we're paid with Medicaid. It's not that much money. And then after 3.5 years, I discovered it's like $9 an hour for all that we do. You get what I'm saying? So honesty and having the discipline and being honest is what will help you move further, because you have to look at the mathematics of your business. And an honest administrator, an honest manager always creates the best rapport with their clients. Because when you're honest and you can sit down and you're just like, oh my God, I'm tired. And I used to teach them, a girl needs a break. I used to tell them a girl needs a break. Like, because when I'd come into the home, they would hover around me, they want to sit with me, they want to bond with me, and I'm exhausted from all the administrative work we do. So I'd sit and bond with them, and then I'd say like from 2 to 4 o'clock is resting time, and I'd be like, a girl needs a break. So now when they'd approach me between those hours I've said, I blocked out for resting time, and I'd give them that bombastic side eye, a funny eye. They'd be like, oh, I remember, a girl needs a break. I'm like, yes, a girl needs a break. So that's honesty, good things and bad things. Now, Third conversation about honesty is when you're now thinking about your finances and what you want to pay to my organization for mentoring you. Because now I have come up and I've designed what the different products are. And I'm going to share with you now about the different products. Who's laughing at my koala? Man, this is the dream of Australia right here. This koala is just like, wow, I'm here in Arizona. But I'm like, Arizona and Australia is all the same. So I got this from the Goodwill, and the koala is so good with me. My cute koala. So I've now designed 3 different products, right? I have a $97 product, which is going to be the roadmap. The roadmap is for you. You've decided, hey, I want to come into the space of opening a residential facility. By facility, you know, I mean home, not those big facilities. Facility is just a home for 4 to 10 residents, right? I think at the 11th resident, it becomes a center. But different states have different vocabulary. But we're talking about a home for 3 to 10 people, right? Like for the bigger 6 bedrooms homes, I think you can go up to 6 residents without the classification type of the home changing. So the $97 product is called the roadmap. The roadmap is just like, I'm thinking of stepping in this space. What does it involve? Do you mind using your mentorship skills and designing for me what the steps are? Because when I have the steps, I can now think through it and really make a decision whether this is the kind of business I want to go into. Secondly, when I look at the steps, I can discuss it with any of my potential partners. Usually your spouse, or maybe you're coming to the business with a sibling, or maybe you have an outside partner, I don't know. A roadmap is designed to give you clarity, because when you're clear, you can make an honest decision about whether this is the journey you want to take. So that clarity, I'm selling to you for $97, okay? So that's why now I want to start speaking about honesty, because now we're looking to see whether we truly want to commit to the decision of opening up a group home. We also have to be honest with how much money do we have available for mentorship and what that is going to involve. Like, what do I have from my pocket that I want to pay my mentor for this journey? So the roadmap, I'm selling at $97. And at the end of the day, the roadmap is designed to give you clarity of the steps to do. Either you're thinking of coming into the business, or you're like me, I just have $97 for this business. I don't have any other monies. So I'm going to buy the roadmap and then I'm going to hack it out on my own. The roadmap is designed to have you be able to hack it out on your own, meaning you get no further mentorship from me other than this YouTube videos. And I'll tell you a little secret. I convey almost everything on these YouTube videos, but you have to be diligent about following through with them, okay? Truth be told, I convey almost everything. Like, there's not much more, I would say, in privacy that I'm not saying out on these YouTube videos. I just can't vocalize everything fast enough as I would in the advanced mentorship program that I will talk to you about, okay? So remember, honesty. So now we are thinking, do I want to get into this businesses? Or if I'm in it, do I have a clear roadmap that I can follow and with certainty be sure that that's the roadmap? And with that, I include 2 coaching sessions, because you call me, you tell me about your life, what you want to do, what you're thinking of, and then I create for you the roadmap, and then we could have another conversations where I'm clarifying to you and teaching back to you what those roadmap steps are. All that goodness for $97. So a roadmap, it's me going into your state and reading, and I'm like, this is the kind of home you want to open. Okay, let me see what is needed. These are the forms. This is how much it would cost for this kind of program. Oh, okay, this is how much licensing needs. Oh, these are the red flags. Be careful here. So the roadmap is a lot. It would probably take me 10 hours to do something I'm selling to you for $97, right? So it's a document you can safely rely on. And I always put a disclaimer. It may not have everything, but you can safely rely on it because I'm using the information from your state to create the roadmap, okay? Roadmap, $97. Link will be in the comment and in the description. Roadmap, $97. Okay. Now you've had the roadmap, you're good, you're confident, you've spoken to the powers that be over your life. If you're like me, I sit and have a boardroom meeting with myself. We make a decision for myself and ourselves, and then we have a business meeting and I take down my business meeting notes with myself. I make decisions for me because it's just me in my life, okay? Now, the next step is what I call the jump start. It's like the jump start. Now, the jump start is you've made a decision and now you are committed. I'm committed. I've made a decision. I'm ready now to jump start. I'm in it. In fact, I'm beginning to look around for properties. I've very clearly understood the steps in the process. I have understood the sequence. I've even opened a Google folder. I've saved the roadmap. I've gone into my state. I've looked at the different forms. I've downloaded them. I've saved them in the folder. I've looked just a little bit around me to see where I am thinking of getting a potential home. Now you're ready to jumpstart, right? But I don't really have the big monies to pay for big mentorship, okay? But now the Jumpstart program is where now you've made a decision. You're not thinking about the decision. You've made a decision that you want to get into the game. You've gotten your roadmap, right? Because the Jumpstart, you have to have a roadmap. You've gotten your roadmap. You've reviewed it. You're like, great, I'm ready for this. I'm ready. In fact, now I'm actively or proactively even looking for the property or thinking very strongly, right? I just need a little bit more of your mentorship and a little bit more of your attention so I get really going, right? The Jumpstart. That program is $497, one-time fee. Now, what I do in the Jumpstart program is I put you in cohorts. If you're calling me from Texas or if you're from Texas and you want to open an assisted living home, I put all of you together in one cohort because the information you exchange with each other is sometimes more powerful than the information I give you directly. But I'm manning the group. I'm manning the cohort. And I am still there and I am guiding you, but you're very dependent on each other. And then I pop in once in a while. I help direct the cohort. I answer if there are any questions, but it's not individualized like eyeball to eyeball attention. I'm there. I'm guiding you just as I am in this YouTube video, but you're also relying on the power of your cohort because these businesses, as I always say, are not to be opened alone. You need your teams of life members that are running with you in your state. So that's 497. So again, look in your budget and see what you can comfortably afford because that cohort is lifetime, right? For the lifetime of your business. And the people I met when I first opened this business are still very good friends of mine.